In the headlines, 30 dead and 12 injured in ghastly motor accident along Zaria to Kano Expressway. EFCC remands ex-Accountant General Idris over 109 billion naira fraud allegation. Federal government projects 6.72 trillion naira petrol subsidy for 2023. And on the foreign scene, Sri Lanka military raids Sri Lanka protest camps, leaders arrested. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the details. At least 30 persons were feared dead after a ghastly auto crash along Zaria-Kano Expressway on Thursday evening. Assistant Corps Commander in charge of Zaria Zone, Abdurrahman Yakase, who spoke to Daily Trust, confirmed the accident, adding that 12 persons sustained serious injuries. He said the accident was caused by overspeeding and dangerous overtaking, where two Toyota 18-seater buses and a Volkswagen Golf collided. The unit commander said the FRSC were yet to ascertain the registration numbers of the vehicles because the vehicles were burnt to ashes. He, however, assured that efforts are being made to obtain the manifest and additional details of the victims. The Director, Personnel Management and a veterinary doctor with the Department of Veterinary Medicine in Kwantagora local government area of Niger State have been reportedly kidnapped. Daily Trust gathered that the DPM was kidnapped on Friday on his farm along Kwantagora Mariga Road, alongside some laborers working with him, while the veterinary doctor was reportedly abducted on Thursday morning while returning to Kwantagora from surrounding villages where he had gone to vaccinate animals. Daily Trust gathered that the bandits later called and demanded for 15 million naira ransom. The Niger State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Wasiu Abiodun is yet to confirm the incident. Meanwhile, bandits have killed 5 mobile policemen who are said to be on special duty from Kano and 3 civilians at Gatikawa community in Kankare local government area of Katsina State. Sources said the incident occurred on Wednesday when over 300 gunmen stormed the community and started shooting to scare residents. One of the sources said the gunmen rode on motorcycles and went from house to house, carting away anything of value, including money and food items. He said that several residents were also injured, especially those trying to escape from the gunmen, and some had since relocated to neighboring communities for fear of another attack. This is the second time this month that police officers have been killed by bandits. It could be recalled that gunmen killed a senior police officer in charge of the Dutz-Emma Council area, Assistant Commissioner of Police Aminu Umar, alongside one other police officer and several civilians. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Katsina State Command, CP Idris Sudauda, has presented checks of 14.6 million naira to families and next of kin of deceased police officers who died while in active service on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, Al-Ali Baba Usman. The federal government is considering restricting the use and distribution of motorcycles across the country in light of the fact that they are the most conventional means of logistics being deployed by terrorists. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation revealed this to newsmen at State House Abuja after Thursday's National Security Council meeting called by President Muhammadu Buhari. Malami disclosed that government was also looking at blocking sources of funding terrorist operations and maybe suspending mining activities for the time being. Also briefing newsmen, Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola disclosed that a preliminary report of the investigation into the attack on the prison in Kuje, Abuja, has been sent to President Muhammadu Buhari. He explained that the report had identified all those whose actions or inactions led to the unfortunate incident, and such officials who shirked their responsibilities would have to face the consequences of their actions. Aregbesola said sufficient efforts were being made by intelligence agencies to forestall the attack on the prison, but there was a problem with the will to carry out instructions by security operatives. A high court sitting in the Federal Capital Territory has remanded the suspended Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, in prison custody over his alleged illegal diversion of public funds to the tune of 109.4 billion naira. He was arraigned on a 14-count charge bordering on conspiracy, criminal breach of trust, and money laundering. Trial Justice A.O. Adeyemi Ajayi, who remanded the suspended AGF and other defendants in the matter, said they remain in the custody of the Nigerian Correctional Service till Wednesday, when their bail applications will be heard. Mardiya Umar is at the court to give us an update. All right, we'll give you that update in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, mixed reactions are trailing the suspension of the Emir of Birnin Endoto Emirate by the Zamfara state government following the turbaning of bandit leader Ado Alero. Alero, who was recently turbaned as the Serikin Fulani of Endoto Daji Emirate, is said to be on the wanted list of the federal government. The report.
A civil society activist, Bachiri Serikin Fulani, believes that the turbaning of the bandits' leader as the Serikin Fulani portends grave danger for the immediate community as well as the society at large, stressing that it means the bandits are in control of Alero's community, a situation he said is a dent on the image of the state. For him, the suspension of the Emir of Birnin Endoto Emirate, Aliyu Marafa, must be uploaded by people of goodwill and charge the state government to hit hard on political office holders who attended that ceremony.
If the government have directed such events, they should have done it on a certain basis, and there should not be for them to reverse it. That should be contradictory. Just 2 weeks ago, the governor was saying that people should be given license to take arms, and now you are negotiating. So we want to have a clear direction of what the government wants. Do you want negotiating? Do you want to take arms? Do you want protection by the security agencies? So the government should be firm and straightforward of what they need to solve this problem.
A journalist, Muhammad Sidi, however, is of the view that the installation of the bandits' leader, Ado Alero, as the Serikin Fulani of Endoton Daji Emirate was one of the ways the emirate used to broker peace with the bandits in the community to enable farmers return to farming activities in the troubled area. He observed that the cancellation of the turbaning and subsequent suspension of the new Emir of Birnin Endoto Emirate, Aliyu Marafa, will lead to renewed attacks, killings and abduction by bandits in the state.
What we have learned is that, honestly speaking, the federal government cannot conquer bandits, especially in the northwest, because a number of troops and security and collaboration with other security personnel have been assigned into the Borno State for quite a long time, but not a single bandits enclave, is destroyed.
Bachiri and Sidi believe that if the federal and Zamfara state governments must address insecurity, there is need to come out with a clear-cut strategy to deal with the terror groups so that peace and stability can return to the troubled communities.
And over 100 healthcare workers have been engaged to manage issues of maternal health in rural communities across the 20 local government areas of Bauchi State to address the inadequacy of health personnel in the state. The State Ministry of Health disclosed this during an orientation training at the School of Nursing and Midwives in Bauchi. Adamu Imam reports.
The program is in response to the lack of adequate basic healthcare workers in various health facilities in the state. Some of the engaged health workers, who are mostly nurses and midwives, are sure of their readiness to serve their state irrespective of the community they are posted to.
To do my all best in rendering the services needed in the community where I am posted, and where I cannot handle, I am ready to refer the patient to a secondary facility where she will be taken care.
We are really happy that we have been called to render services, a service of helping women in pregnancy throughout the period when pregnancy has been established until the time of delivery.
Earlier, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Ali Babayo, said the program is carried out under the National Basic Healthcare Provision Fund to bridge the manpower gap in the health sector. Babeo, who noted that the engagement is on merit, added that they will be posted to rural communities in their local government areas to serve.
So what we want in Bauchi State, we're going to ensure that the best hands are recruited. It's not anybody with this individual certificate that will be allowed to operate in the hospital. We have to interview them and ensure that what they are going to do, actually their certificate could be defended. You know, even the certificate has to be defended by the person through the interviews. We have to bring experts to rigorously examine them and ensure that they earn that certificate and that they are equal to the task before they are allowed to temper the lives of our people in the state.
The ministry is sure of addressing issues around welfare and allowance before posting them to the various communities. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. And coming up after the break, travelers commend trailer park opening initiative. This and more after the break. Do stay with us.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now a recap of our top stories. 30 dead and 12 injured in ghastly motor accident along Zaria to Kano Expressway. And court remands ex-accountant general Idris over 109 billion naira fraud allegation. And moving on to other news now. A total of 3,657 civil servants have so far been reported to the Independent Corrupt Practices and Related Offences Commission, ICPC, for prosecution for failing to get verified on the Integrated Personnel Payroll Information System, IPPIS. The head of civil service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieson, disclosed this in a media briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team in Abuja. She said 61,446 civil servants from various ministries, departments and agencies had been verified on the IPPIS platform, adding that another 1,618 applicants were found to have used illegal or fake letters, while 874 officers were suspended from the platform. She said the government saved about 180 million monthly and about 2 billion annually by implementing IPPIS. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai on Wednesday presented the sum of 209 million naira to 3 tertiary institutions as full payment of tuition fees for over 1,200 indigent students. The sum, which covers fees from start to graduation for the 1,251 benefiting students, was done under the Kaduna State Government's Merit and Need-Based Scholarship Scheme. The approved fund is also in furtherance of the government's commitment to ensure that every child gets the compulsory 12 years of basic education for free. While beneficiaries welcomed the initiative, the state government has also included an education endowment fund in the new education bill, which will be applied for education development in the state.
People like me to be able to graduate, not to drop out from the school.
Going to school has been really hard, and I'm here with my father, Mr. Joseph Tankunok. He's a contract security man at the Kaduna State University here in Kaduna, and my mother is a petty trader.
We have approved the immediate payment of the sum of 524 million to qualified students. The good news is, going forward, all qualified merit and indigent students will have their complete tuition fee till graduation paid directly to the institutions. The government has also disbursed about 819 million in education loans to 509 beneficiaries for payments of tuition fee and upkeep in local and foreign tertiary institutions. We hope as soon as the law is passed, we'll have the endowment fund launched. We'll constitute a board of trustees to manage the funds independent of government, and these funds will only be applied for educational development in the states. I want to state that with the enactment of this education bill, parents and guardians whose children are not in school will be prosecuted and jailed without the option of fine. Any child found roaming the street will be traced to his parents or guardians, and the parents or guardians will be prosecuted, because there is no excuse for a child roaming the street if 12 years of education is free.
Kaduna State University will be paid 158.53 million for 755 students, with Kaduna State College of Education, Gidanwaya, receiving 33.45 million for 317 students, and New Bamali Polytechnic receiving 27.6 million for 179 students.
And travellers along Maraband Jos on Kaduna Zaria Highway have commended the establishment of a trailer motor park in the area. All the drivers welcomed the opening of the trailer park, which has stopped indiscriminate parking on the highway by trailer drivers who usually stop over for rest. Traders along the road say the development has affected their business.
This is Maraband Jos in Igadu local government area of Kaduna State. Trailer drivers and other long-distance travelers who usually stop over to rest once parked on this highway. This action by the road users disrupted free flow of traffic, resulting in accidents and other unpalatable incidents. This led to the building of this park at Maraband Jos.
Gaskiya yanzu alhamdulillah saboda sada ba a samar da parking ba abin ba lissafi kowa ya parka inda tsaya yanzu alhamdulillah an tattara a wuri guda an samu jama'a abubuwa sannan mun samar da tsare-tsare nan kuma mun sa no parking mun kafa no parking in ka duba za ka gani ba guda ba malam ba a parking a wajen nan idan za ka shiga gareji ka shiga in kuma za ka wuce
If a trailer develops a fault on the highway, we make sure they use triangle sign to alert motorists. The drivers also want the government to build pedestrian bridges and establish fire service points in the park to deal with any case of fire outbreak. We have children and women who use the road every day, so we call on government to build pedestrian bridge and to construct old garage due to large number of trailers. We want government to establish fire service office in the park. In case fire outbreak occurs, the service will quench the fire. The park has two phases, and we are now using phase 1. Therefore, we want government to complete the construction of the phase 2 to accommodate large number of trailers coming to the garage every day. While the drivers welcome the building of the trailer park, traders say the relocation of the park has affected their business.
Before, we cook many bags of rice, but now we barely finish one bag a day.
I used to make sales of 100,000 in a day, but now I hardly make 10,000 in a day. The resident also revealed that the influx of drivers and traders from within and beyond Nigeria, though good for business, also has some negative implications. The promiscuous living here contributes to the spread of sexual-related disease in this community. People come from different places, including Niger Republic. Promiscuity is high, and most women here are vulnerable because they have no means of livelihood. They appeal to government to fast-track the construction of Kaduna Zaria Kano Highway to reduce the rate of accident along the road.
And the federal government has so far released 4.7 trillion naira to finance expenditure in the 2022 budget. This is according to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. The minister disclosed this on Thursday at a consultative forum on the 2023 to 2025 medium-term fiscal framework in Abuja. The minister further explained that out of the 4.7 trillion naira spending, the government released a total of 1.9 trillion naira for debt service, while personnel costs and pension gulped the sum of 1.2 trillion naira. The National Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME, has organized a youth empowerment forum as part of activities to commemorate the 2022 National Youth Day. Speaking at the event, the president and chairman of the governing council of NASME, Abdul Rashid Yarima, charged youth to be creative to enable them make positive impacts on the country. Musa Luka reports.
Yarima said the vision of the National Association of Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises, NASME, is to be the voice of Nigerian entrepreneurs advocating for conducive operating environment while partnering with MSME promoters to ensure the emergence of large pool of viable and technological empowered MSMEs in Nigeria.
The MSME Youth Empowerment Conference is aimed at providing an interactive forum for dialogue between young entrepreneurs representing the youth business community and policymakers as well as development organizations to discuss the need to invest in young people's transition, work and citizenship, given the significant roles of young people as agents for positive social and economic change.
He added that the conference is to sensitize the youth on the ways to secure financial assistance from financial institutions to enable set up an enterprise.
The Nigerian youth are full of energy, full of initiatives, highly intelligent people. So the enterprise challenge is an opportunity that is available for them to have access to finance, technical support, so that they can also access local, national, and global markets.
The North Central Vice President of NASME, Ajishefini Ayodeji, commended the level of participation by the youth across the country. Ayodeji, who is also the Secretary General for Northern Zone, added that NASME is there to support both intending small and medium-scale entrepreneurs as well as those that want to expand their businesses.
We discovered that no more white-collar job. The best job in Nigeria today is either blue or green. And how do we mean vocationals, self-development? Let's encourage the youth, because that's the only economic sector that can provide the job we are expecting in Nigeria.
Some participants thanked NASME for supporting them and pledged to justify such investment.
hardly any youth in this country that is not entrepreneurship in nature. Some are born entrepreneurs while others are circumstantial entrepreneurs. When you graduate and you can't get yourself a job, the next thing is to turn into entrepreneurship. And that has been keeping a lot of people going, and more youths are out there waiting for the right support to get them into entrepreneurship. So that's why we're trying to use this avenue to get more and more youths off the streets of Nigeria to embrace entrepreneurship as the way to go.
This is something that will give the youth an advantage to explore their talent. It is the first of its kind.
Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And on the foreign scene, the military in Sri Lanka has taken control of the presidential secretariat in the capital after brutally assaulting the protesters, according to reports. Soldiers also destroyed tents at the adjacent Gotagogama protest site, arrested several protest leaders and cordoned off the area together with about 100 protesters. The military assault came hours after the protesters withdrew from the Prime Minister's official residence. The protesters had already announced their intention to withdraw from the presidential secretariat on July 22. The assault on the protest site, where 10 protesters were said to be badly injured, came after Ranil Wickremesinghe, a six-time prime minister, took the oath as the country's new president. His predecessor, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, had fled the country after weeks of protests triggered by the country's economic collapse and growing public anger over his long-time political influence. And finally, in sports, Super Falcons striker Asisat Oshoala has won a record 5th African Women's Player of the Year award. Oshoala, who plays club football for Barcelona, beat Grace Chanda of Zambia and Ajara Njoya of Cameroon to the award. The win sees her overtake her compatriot Perpetua Nkwocha as the player with the most African Women's Player of the Year awards. She was the only Nigerian nominee to make the 2022 CAF Awards final shortlist. 27-year-old Oshoala had equaled Nkwocha's then record wins of 4 in 2019. She had previously won the award in 2014, 2016, 2017 and 2019. And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.